Morgan.
And I'm Jake, and this is Neverland
Neverland
Navigation
Navigation
Radio,
Radio.
where we walk down Hollywood Boulevard and do whatever we want.
Yeah,
Because what is it today?
it's Hollywood Studios Day.
It's our ideal Hollywood Studios Day. You know, this is part of our series where we take each park and we kind of talk about, in a perfect, beautiful Disney world, what would we do if we kind of had free reign of doing whatever we wanted for the day at each of the theme parks?
Yeah, what our favorite things are, what our favorite meals are.
Hollywood Studios has a lot to love.
Yeah.
Um, Obviously, the park means a lot to us because we grew up with it. We've seen it change a lot. And there's
I grew up with MGM.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. Important correction there. It was MGM forever.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot that goes into why we love Hollywood Studios so much, but as it stands right now, there's so much to do in the park. As I was going through my list, I kind of thought to myself, gosh, even if I could have a day where I just did everything that I want, could I even do everything I want to do?
Well, if it's your perfect day, there's no lines, right? So
yeah, let me tell you, that helps.
yeah.
I've got individual lightning lane for every attraction.
Right.
I've got that Disney Genie Plus budget
Yeah.
in my fantasy.
It wasn't that long ago that Hollywood Studios was in such a state of like identity crisis,
Right.
And lands were still being built and stuff like that, and there were only like 5 rides. You know what I mean?
I do.
Before Star Wars, before Toy Story Land, that was a rough time for them.
Yes, because the Streets of America had closed. That whole area back there where Lights, Motors, Action was, the Backlot Tour, the Great Movie Ride, a lot of the cornerstones of the park's identity had kind of fallen out of favor with how Disney viewed what was attractive to tourists. So they thought some changes were made, and there was that really rough in-between period like you're talking about, where all the old stuff was gone but the new stuff was still on the way.
Yeah.
So it kind of became a half-day park.
A lot of construction, exactly what I was going to say. It was a half-day park there for a while.
I think
But that was just an interim thing, you know what I mean?
It was pretty temporary, but it does remind me a little bit of how the front half of Epcot is now.
Yes, I was thinking the same thing.
It's better now that Guardians has opened.
Yes, I agree.
Because in that period where the front of the park, the middle of the park, and that Guardians back there area were all under construction, it was like, okay, so there's more under construction than there is not under construction.
Yeah, right.
And
the feeling it gives you when you're surrounded by construction or construction walls, and you're not in the middle of magic like you are when things are all done. It's just...
It takes you out of it a little.
It does.
It's like watching a movie and the person in front of you gets a text message.
Oh, yes.
It's the same feeling when you see those big construction walls and you think to yourself, well, that should be a huge, beautiful building or something.
Yes,
or
a fountain or whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
that's how Disney does. They've set some pretty high expectations for immersion. So sometimes the construction walls can be tough, but they're a necessary kind of thing to keep the parks constantly changing, like Walt Disney said.
They're worse in Epcot than they were in Hollywood Studios. Yeah. That was just like, oh, you can't go past this part in the park.
Right.
In Hollywood Studios. But in Epcot, it's like, we just shut down the whole middle of...
Right, you completely lost your sense of wayfinding too, because we used to know Future World like the back of our hand, and now Future World doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So
anyway, I'm glad Hollywood Studios did kind of get to a point where everything they wanted to be done is done. It is, I would say, more than a full day park now.
Yeah,
I would call this a 2-day park.
I would absolutely agree. I think there's so much to explore now, and I think it kind of, despite Star Wars Galaxy's Edge having a more mixed than expected reaction upon its opening, I think that there's so much exploring to do just in Galaxy's Edge that would keep you busy for so many hours of your day if you needed to prioritize that as something you wanted to do on your vacation. That would certainly keep you busy for so long, but even apart from that, they've got so many e-ticket attractions in this park now.
Yes,
that just between the waiting in line and the, all of the to-do that comes with these big budget things, you certainly can eat up a big chunk of your vacation just getting these headliners done in
Yeah,
Hollywood
yeah. I
studios.
think you need to spend more than a day here, to be honest.
And honestly, a big thing I love about Hollywood studios is the entertainment as well. And that's something a lot of people don't even get around to there because there's so
There's
much to
so many,
ride.
and the lines for the rides that are in Hollywood studios are so long.
Right.
So were you saying that the Star Wars Land Batu had a negative? You feel?
Yes, when the Galaxy's Edge first opened, from what I gathered online and from being there, there were some um, there were some guests who felt that it was odd to set the the land in the universe of the most recent films and not to kind of
Oh,
encompass Star Wars history. There
oh.
was some discussion about Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run
Well,
being
yeah.
kind of an arcade type
Sure,
attraction.
sure.
And if you guys recall, when Galaxy's Edge opened here, its signature attraction, Rise of the Resistance, was not ready for opening. So they
That was
opened
unfortunate.
without their e-ticket, which left a bad taste in a lot of people's
Yeah.
mouth because they got a lot of shops, they got a lot of dining, they got, all of those things, but the centerpiece of the land wasn't there, so it
Yeah.
was kind of an uneven experience.
Yes, so for me, I feel like Batu is so immersive and so well created that it's something that I love. And now that Rise of the Resistance is here, I love it even more.
Right.
But yes, Millennium Falcon was a hard way to start.
Yes, because that's the only attraction they had, and
Yeah.
to be honest, it is a little reminiscent of the one that's already there, Star Tours.
Well, I was going to say I love Star Tours way, way, way more than I love Millennium Falcon.
I would say historically, Star Tours being a George Lucas, Michael Eisner kind of brainchild for bringing theme park attractions into the future, because it was the first, before Body Wars and Back to the Future, the attraction at Universal. Before any of that, it was Star Tours. This was the first motion simulator type of ride ever in a theme park. So it was groundbreaking. It has a really rich history, that attraction.
Yeah, so nostalgic for me.
So when you got that to compete against, and now you've got a kind of similar thing, but set more recently, maybe with some more impressive graphics and controls and things, but the same kind of idea, it can be a little like, well, haven't we already done this? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's the feeling I think a lot of people got, and it's hard to argue with them.
Yeah, when it was just Millennium Falcon, I do remember being like, wah, wah.
a little.
A little. The queue though, like we talked about in our queue podcast episode, is so not that just the queue and pre-show.
Yes,
it's
the
so
pre-show.
Amazing that.
That definitely does ease the.
Yeah.
The womp a little bit, because like that Hondo animatronic in the pre-show is so fluid and wonderful that it does add a little bit of budget and razzmatazz to the whole thing, don't you think?
Oh yes, yes.
I do. Even also
just like where you hang out before you go in, like that whole inside the Millennium Falcon. I love that.
Yeah, me too. I think that's a really cool immersive experience. Even if you're not a Star Wars fan, that set of the chessboard and all of that is so iconic and so instantly recognizable that I think it's a really great way for anyone to feel like they are really stepping into the Star Wars story. Like it accomplishes its goals so fully.
I try to stay away from the talk on social media about people being disappointed and stuff, although I have fallen in that rabbit hole a bunch of times. You know what I mean?
It's unavoidable if you're a Disney fan.
When Guardians Cosmic Rewind first opened, there was a lot of talk about
motion sickness.
Headline. But I guess I missed a lot of the Star Wars Land stuff. Maybe I go through phases where I'm like, I spent way too much time reading how people are upset about this or that, and then I'll like just swear it off for a while.
Well,
just the comments.
For me, sometimes it enhances my enjoyment of things not to walk into a land or an attraction and then have immediately come to my mind all of the comments that I've read, and now I can't unsee the things they've pointed out. Sometimes it's better to kind of take a little cleanse and experience it truly through your own eyes so that you can kind of think freely about how you're experiencing things. I know that's kind of what I was able to do for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. I had like practically no spoilers on that, practically no spoilers on Guardians of the Galaxy,
Yeah.
Cosmic Rewind. So my enjoyment of those things was kind of uninhibited by other people's opinions, which can
Right.
sometimes kind of weigh down your
Yeah.
perception of things. I'm trying to do that for Tron.
Yeah. So
Tron-
you've already heard some stuff, huh?
Tron is coming up, and there's been some talk about the ride vehicles and how they might not necessarily be the most accommodating for guests of a larger size. So that's something that is a very hot topic in the Disney kind of
This
community.
was also a hot topic back when the Avatar, the Flight of Passage, because it's a similar situation. Huh?
Yes, kind of. Yeah, this is it's that leg.
I remember like
leg
news,
restraint.
Yeah, news headlines coming out about the Flight of Passage.
Yes.
That not everyone could fit in it. This isn't.
Yeah, and we're still very early on in the Tron process at the time of recording and releasing this. Pass holder previews haven't even begun. It's just been cast previews. So, you know, we're not forming any opinions, but it's an example of how when there's this news buzz around an attraction, sometimes you take a perception into the experience with you. Sometimes it's better to avoid that if you can, but sometimes, like this Tron thing, there's no way you're not seeing it. You know?
We don't have anything new on the horizon for Hollywood Studios, do we? Other than the Woody's restaurant?
Yes, I feel like they're kind of done with Hollywood Studios for a minute.
Yeah,
you know?
that's fine.
In the same way that they were kind of done with Animal Kingdom after Pandora.
Pandora was added.
Mm-hmm.
And then now they're going through they just added something to Epcot, then they added another thing to Epcot, actually, then Magic Kingdom. Now it should be one of those two.
Yes, right? It feels a bit cyclical because, like, of course, now Magic Kingdom is getting Tron. The last major thing Magic Kingdom got was New Fantasyland. I mean, that was quite a while ago now.
Right.
So it is like that with the parks, where they'll take kind of a break from getting new stuff, and then it seems all at once they've got this pump of new life into them. And honestly, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that Disney can now run that commercial that's like, if you haven't been to Disney World in the past 10 years, you haven't been to Disney World. Right. And they'll like show all the new stuff, you know.
Well, yeah.
Hey, it works.
It's true.
I'm super excited for all the new stuff.
That's how I convince my family to come back like every year.
You guys haven't even ridden Guardians.
Yeah.
You have to come. It's so cool.
Next year I get to do that with Tron. The year after that, I mean, I'll have the new Splash Mountain.
Oh yeah, Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Yeah. I can't wait to get my virtual queue for Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Sure, that's coming. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Should we start our day?
Let's dive in. What's the weather like on your ideal day?
Oh, thank you for asking. My ideal weather for Hollywood Studios, and this is such a true indicator of my perception of the park, is cool enough for me to sit outdoors at the Beauty and the Beast show and still enjoy it.
Yeah? Maybe like 80?
Less? Maybe like, 75
All
or
right.
something.
So winter.
Yeah, for us, that's like, 2 days of the year?
Yeah.
That's
both
never.
of those days.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more.
No, yeah. But yeah, I do prefer a brisk day at any of the theme parks. That's kind of my ideal temperature, because Lord knows that the parks are a little bit more crowded than they were when we were kids. So, well, they've always, had peak seasons with the crowds, but now every day seems like a busy day.
Yeah, Jake and I go on Tuesday or Wednesday every week for the business, and it's always busy.
Yeah, it's always, there are days where some parks are less than others a little bit, but they're certainly more busier on average than they were. So what I mean to say,
but when I was younger, on weekdays, it was pretty easy.
Quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the heat plus the crowds really can make for a little bit more of like a stressful theme park experience sometimes.
Yeah.
So I always prefer it to be a little cooler. How about you?
Yeah, but maybe not as cool as you. I think I would prefer the 80s, low 80s.
As soon as I start to think, oh, it's nice and cool in here, I'll hear burr. And that's Morgan saying she needs a jacket. Because she's much more sensitive to the cold.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, we balance each other out. We're like that new... Have you seen that poster
I'm
for that?
Shivering, and he's like, this is great.
That is what it's like. Have you seen the new poster for that Disney movie Elemental that they're going to do? That's us. I don't know what that movie's about. because that hasn't come out yet.
Yeah, when the previews are out.
But I feel like that's us
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, that's funny.
Well, that'll be our Halloween costume for Mickey's Mouse.
How?
So scared. Oh,
Yeah.
good question. How?
How do you turn into fire?
A lot of craft paper.
Okay.
Tool. Oh, paper mache. That's what you always did, right? Paper mache.
Paper mache, sure.
Yeah.
That would be a lot of work.
Chicken wire.
Oh my gosh.
Wow, what a flashback to school.
Yeah.
When the only time you ever use paper
mache.
mache.
Oh
is
yeah,
like
yeah.
some
I don't
project.
think adults do paper mache.
We will.
We'll do it.
Disney adults will.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that movie looks cute. I'm excited for it.
It does look cute.
Elemental, right?
So you don't want it to, yeah, I think Elemental. So you don't want it to be too cool. You want it to be like mid-temp.
Yeah, I think I like the 80s.
Yeah, the 80s, 90s, and today. Not the 90s.
The 90s is too hot.
Keep that heat away.
Yeah, for the longest time, I bought our annual passes, so we were blocked out during the summer because I'm like, I'm not even going during the summer. It's like insane hot.
It's like that room in the old test track. But then we started this
business, and we're like, we'll figure it out.
Gotta go all the time. You see, better pack a tank top or something.
Yeah.
All right.
You guys don't mind us sweating on camera, right?
Oh, because it's
because it happens.
Because whatever your answer is, we're gonna.
There's not really an option.
Yeah. Okay. Are you rope dropping anything?
I would rather. Okay.
I know the answer.
I am not a wake up this early kind of person.
No.
But for the sake of getting everything done in Hollywood studios, if you were only going to do one day, you kind of have to.
Well, also imagine like we're kind of floating in this ideal universe where you've got Hollywood studios to yourself for the day. Okay. I would be there first thing in the morning. You know what I mean?
Sure. Here's what I'm going to say. Even though I'm not really a rope drop kind of person, assuming you're not somebody that goes to the park every week, you kind of need to. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And I have a suggestion of what you should do when you rope drop. Do you?
I kind of do, but it might be different because unlike our last episode of this kind of series, which was Animal Kingdom, we were very much in agreement of the perfect flow to your Animal Kingdom day. Hollywood studios can be a little different depending on which things you prioritize because getting everything done is a beast.
And whether you're going to do Genie Plus.
Yes.
Because if you're not doing Genie Plus, you kind of have to make some hard decisions.
And you have to.
There's no way you're going to get on everything.
Yes. And you kind of have to know the times where you can maximize what you can get done when.
And if you are going to do Genie Plus, you still might not get on everything in one day. But I will say, if you are doing Genie Plus and you're like, okay, I really want to get Tower of Terror, but you don't see it on there, you have to keep checking back. Like you have to refresh, and eventually it might come because somebody might have let go of theirs.
Right.
So that's an important tip if you didn't already know that.
Genie Plus tip alert, pound the app.
Pound the app, yeah.
Yeah, just to make sure that.
But you're right.
You're cashing in.
I would say there's a few options on what you would rope drop to. I'll tell you, if you're going to try to do everything in a day or two, you should probably just buy the Lightning Lane for Rise of Resistance.
I honestly think Hollywood Studios is one where the Lightning Lane is worth it if you're not a regular.
Yeah.
Because honestly, there's just too much to do.
There's too much to do.
And I know we keep saying that. We'll get into what attractions we're talking about.
Right. This park has too many rides that have like 1 to 2 hour waits. It's not like there's one ride like there is in most, like in Animal Kingdom, there's really just the one.
Flight of Passage.
Yeah. There's also can get a little bit of a wait for Navi River, but I mean, if you miss it, you miss it. You're going to be okay.
Right.
But not so with the e-ticket attractions in Hollywood Studios. You really need to hit all those.
And they're like generational. There's e-tickets from the 90s in here. There's e-tickets from the 2000s. There's e-tickets from right now. I mean, it's like every decade we're getting like a new set of top tier attractions in this park.
Yeah.
They're kind of treating Hollywood Studios well budget wise. So.
Oh yeah, I agree.
So what are you rope dropping?
So I put Slinky on mine.
Me too.
Okay. When we did Genie Plus, when my whole family came, my brother, my sister, their spouses, my parents, we met even my aunt and uncle. It was a really big party.
Mm-hmm.
We did Genie Plus, and I did Genie Plus for the whole group, and Slinky was the hardest one to get.
Yes, everyone wants the individual lightning lane for Slinky, or not. Sorry, not
Yeah.
individual, just regular old lightning lane. Everyone wants the lightning lane for Slinky, and that's because everyone knows that this is kind of the hot family coaster right now.
It's
Everyone in your
also
party can do it.
everyone will probably love it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Even kids, because
And it's fun. Who doesn't like an
I
outdoor
love it.
roller coaster?
Here's what I don't like. I don't like the line.
The queue is probably my least favorite queue.
Yeah, you should not be in this line in the middle of the day. Even if you have to wait an hour, you're gonna want to do it in the morning when it's a little cooler.
Yeah, I'm fat. I'm not in good shape, so don't, I already know. But I almost fainted in this queue because it's like outdoors and like
It's not good
in the
for anybody,
direct
though.
sunlight. Like they have, it's such a joke when they put those umbrellas out. Girl, what is that doing for anybody?
You know what it's doing? It's making people be jerks and not move ahead because they want to keep their spot in the shade.
You know where it's really bad for that? Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway.
Really?
Yeah, because when it gets to the extended queue and it kind of wraps around the side of the building, they've got those umbrellas set up and people will crowd around them.
Yeah.
And then they'll wait for the people in front of them to move and then they'll frogger over to that umbrella.
Right.
We're wasting so much time. We're bumping into each other.
It's super frustrating for the people right behind you.
And you want to yell at the guest, but really it's Disney's fault.
I mean,
I'd rather them just cover the whole thing.
Yeah.
Just get an awning. Yeah. Can Andy have an awning in his toy set? Can he find a piece of tape and make it can we do something?
Duct tape kind of looking thing going over the top. Something.
Duct tape. Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking of what you would have that would be transparent.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good. I like it. Yeah,
Are you thinking of serial killers? Is that what duct tape does?
No.
Oh.
I just thought
you're like, a kid wouldn't have duct tape.
No, I think that's fun. I think duct tape is actually probably a good idea because he could also like tape some of the boxes together or something. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it feels appropriate for that situation. But the uncovered lines in the heat. I know we also talk about outdoor dining that's uncovered on this show. All of that together for me those are the situations I'm avoiding. So in order to avoid that and not stand in that super long line in the direct sunlight, I'm also rope dropping Slinky Dog Dash.
All right.
And I'm enjoying a beautiful, cool morning air. Still a little bit of pink in the sky, maybe.
Maybe take your iced coffee while you're waiting in this line.
Ooh, that sounds really nice. Are you getting Joffrey's or are you getting Starbucks from the trolley car cafe? Or
truly, if you're rope dropping it, you shouldn't get either because they're both in park. You need to run.
Can I tell you the truth? I've already got my coffee.
Yeah, you got it outside.
Yeah, so I'll probably get my second coffee from a Joffrey's or something.
Yeah. Oh, do you have is Joffrey's your preference? That Starbucks line is always crazy.
That is what I was about to say. It depends. My preference depends on how long the Starbucks line is. Because if the I do rewards for Starbucks so I can get free stuff.
Yeah.
If the Starbucks line is manageable, I'll do that. If not, I'm perfectly happy to drink a Joffrey's.
Yeah, I like Joffrey's.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
Jake and I like our coffee like with a ton of added stuff to it.
We're sweet coffee people.
Yeah, I've heard people complain about the flavor or quality of Joffrey's actual coffee, but I wouldn't know because I add so much stuff to it.
It could be water.
Yeah, if you're somebody that's like, ew, they drink that coffee, bear in mind we're adding all kinds of crap.
Welcome to the show. Our coffee is like half chocolate, so like we don't even know.
Yeah.
And we enjoy every sip of it, so I guess
Yeah.
I hope you enjoy your coffee as much as we enjoy ours because it makes my day sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a great rope drop scenario. I think it also gives you the perfect segue here for my breakfast choice.
Oh yeah.
If I'm in Hollywood Studios and I'm getting breakfast, I am honestly probably going to Andy's Lunchbox and getting their Lunchbox tart, which is like a baked Pop-Tart that they do.
Okay.
It's a fun breakfast.
You know why I never go there? Outdoor seating.
Outdoor. That's why I'm walking with it.
It's not just that it's outdoor seating. It's outdoor seating that there's also usually not a lot of room.
Yeah, there is no seating because everyone's already sitting.
Wait, but can you get that Pop-Tart and walk around with it?
Yeah.
It's portable.
Yes.
So that's a great idea.
Yes. Get your Joffrey's coffee, get you a Lunchbox tart, and enjoy your morning walking around. morning Toy Story Land.
Yeah, my breakfast is a little bit further, but same direction. If you stop at Slinky's, then you go past that into Batu, and then they've got breakfast Ronto wraps.
Oh my gosh, this is a great option too. Now, this might appear later in my list, and that's why it's not on my breakfast selection. But it is
I'm going to tell you guys, meals were so hard for Hollywood Studios because there's lots of good options.
It's you're spoiled for choice in a way that like Magic Kingdom can't even imagine. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Magic Kingdom, sometimes it's like you're struggling to find
something decent,
a day's worth of quality food. At Hollywood Studios, you could dine in this park at great restaurants for all 3 meals 2 days in a row.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
You have 2 great choices for every meal of the day here.
Absolutely.
So, it's tough to whittle down. I hope we'll end up with a little bit of variety, and it looks like we already have.
And it sounds like we will later, too.
So what is a Ronto wrap?
Well, okay, so a Ronto wrap at night is like sausage. Well, it's sausage both times. Mm-hmm. It's like a hot dog, but it's Star Wars-ified.
Yes, it's in like a pita wrap.
Yeah.
It's got some vegetables in it.
And then some fun sauce. I can't even tell you the ingredients.
It's like a peppercorn sauce.
You're not
it's really good.
Supposed to know.
Yeah, it's a little bit mystical.
You're supposed to feel like it's something from another planet.
Otherworldly.
Yes.
It accomplishes that nicely.
Yeah.
And at the lunchtime, they also, we'll get into it, but they serve it with some nice vegetable chips. And they're colorful, and it adds to that like whimsy.
Yeah. And
I've never had a breakfast one.
The theming one back there is really fun.
Oh yeah.
I think it's so immersive and everything.
At the Roasters or at the docking bay?
Oh, the docking bay, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. The Roasters is never open when I go back there.
So when the Roasters is not open, normally what they'll do is they'll put the Ronto wrap in the docking bay. And that's what I hope is happening. Because I like to sit in the docking bay, but I don't want to eat there if I can't get a Ronto wrap. Right. Because that's the best thing in Star Wars Land.
So for breakfast, instead of having those vegetables, there's egg and cheese.
Nice.
And then it's still in the pita.
Yeah. And it still has that good sauce.
Yeah. And the sausage is so well flavored. You know what I mean?
It's not
this
like
is not
bad,
like a
sweet.
Boring $12 breakfast that you can get some places in Disney.
Yeah. This
is fun.
Yeah. And it's, maybe something a little bit more interesting than the Mickey waffles you might have had for breakfast the day before.
Yeah.
Nice variety. Early in the day, I'm using my lightning lanes that I have because it's my perfect day to knock out 2 signature attractions.
Okay.
And they are down Sunset Boulevard.
Oh.
So I'm moving. And
so you're getting Genie Plus. Okay, got it.
Well, if it's my perfect day, then yeah.
Oh, then you don't need it.
Or maybe I don't even need it.
Whatever.
But either way, you know what I mean.
These are on my list as well.
When are you doing them?
I didn't really put a win because
fair.
What is really, to me, you've got to be a little flexible.
Depending on what time your lightning lane
Yes,
comes.
Exactly. So you're gonna have to be flexible if you're doing Genie Plus. And when you get it, you get it. You got to work around it. So I've got like my must-do rides that I need to get a Genie Plus for, and then I've got my rides that are also must-do, but I don't need a Genie Plus for, that I will call fillers.
Yes.
And they're just fillers.
In-betweeners.
Yeah, they're fillers because they're not as popular. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But that doesn't mean they're not as good.
Yeah, they certainly serve their purpose. I think if anything, if Hollywood Studios had one more e-ticket attraction, it would be like too much. You know what I mean? There's got to be some balance, and some attractions have to be, your Toy Story Manias or your things that are not quite e-tickets but still process a lot of people.
Right. And you need stuff to do in between your like if you're doing Genie Plus, sometimes they'll have a couple of hours where you're waiting on your next thing. Yeah.
Fill your gap.
Anyway, your 2 things down Sunset Boulevard also make my must-do list. Go on.
Of course. First of all, Rock and Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith. I don't know why that's first of all, but to me it is. I guess that's because that's the order I've done it in the most. But I like this ride. Both of the things down Sunset Boulevard are great for waking you up because they're both massive thrill rides. But for me, this one, the beginning where you go from 0 to 60 to the sound of Steven Tyler screaming in your ears, I love the rush of that.
I love this too. I don't think doing this at Rope Drop would sit well with me.
Oh no, this is after I've done Slinky, which is nice and like
And then
relaxing, and then I've eaten a very light
light,
breakfast.
yeah, okay.
Lovely. Yeah, I never stuff myself at breakfast really,
No.
unless I've got a Topolino's reservation.
Oh God, yes.
Then I will be stuffing myself.
Yeah.
But like if I'm just eating a tart or
Boma.
something, or Boma,
Yeah.
I'll hop on the rock and roller coaster and I won't have a problem.
Right.
So I really enjoy that. I love the music on this ride, so
Uh-huh.
that is a great way for me to have a good mood started.
Yeah.
A lot of people, I think, though, would maybe start with the other attraction down Sunset Boulevard, the current icon of Hollywood Studios. And what's that? It's on your list.
Oh yeah, Tower of Terror.
Yes. The Twilight Zone Tower of Terror is like, in my mind, it's so synonymous with like having a Hollywood Studios day if you're only doing it once a year or whatever. You know?
Yes. While I don't think this should be the icon of the park, this is a very iconic ride that I definitely think it's a must do if it's something that you can handle.
Absolutely.
Not everybody wants to handle this kind of attraction, and I completely get that. And if it's not your thing, then
This is a billboard attraction, and I don't say that just because there was a billboard.
Yeah,
A great
I miss
billboard.
the billboard.
That's not.
They took it
I guess
down
it's not
few
even a
months
billboard.
ago.
A sign.
You know, the sign that moved.
And it didn't even move later on in its life, but I did love it. It's, I don't know, maybe it's because I saw it every time in my childhood. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, me too. It's like one of the things that got you excited.
Yeah, you saw actual Tower
Actually,
of Terror in the distance.
When I was a kid, I was too scared to go on Tower of Terror, but I still love the sign.
I didn't do it a lot as a kid. I sat on that wall.
Wall.
The brick wall that's
Yes,
outside,
yeah.
the waiter wall.
Right.
I would sit there with my mom.
Oh.
It was very sweet. I was too scared. I was too scared for rocking too.
Yeah.
Because oh my god, it went upside down.
Yeah, I was
At Disney World. It was shocking to me.
Yes, I was an adult before I went on really. I went on like Thunder Mountain when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I'm adult, I'm like, Thunder Mountain's not even a roller coaster.
Thunder Mountain is like the Walt Disney Railroad. Like it's nothing.
Yeah, but I thought, that was my roller coaster.
Let me tell you what it is though. So loud.
So loud.
Sometimes Big Thunder gives me a
shaky.
headache. Yeah. Rock and Roller Coaster's not that. It's smooth. It is loud, but it's because you're listening to Aerosmith.
Yeah.
It's loud in a good way.
It's not smooth for everybody. It bangs my head around.
It is.
And my mom said the same thing happens to her. So she said maybe it's a height thing. When you said you thought it wasn't for you.
Right. When I say smooth, I guess I meant more
it's
of
not
like
rickety.
the track, yeah.
Yeah,
but like
sure.
As far as like sharp turns and stuff goes, yeah, you're gonna get whipped around a little bit.
For whatever reason, it bangs my head around. I don't know why.
Is it the restraint?
Yeah.
Then it must be the height.
Yeah.
Because your head sits lower in the restraint, so it can like my head never even.
To make you... I don't know.
Oh, I don't know either. But probably something sciencey.
Something sciencey.
Somebody call Bill Nye the Science Guy. He's not even. Oh well, he's still in the dinosaur.
Yeah.
Pre-show, so he's still available at Walt Disney.
One time I had this. My family is a family of. Actually, this was at a different time, but we were in a party of 3, so there was a single rider that was put next to me, and it was this little girl, and she was so worried about her phone.
On what, rockin'?
Yeah. She was so worried about her phone falling out of the thing.
Mm-hmm.
She's like maybe 10.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to explain centrifugal force to her. I was like, your phone's not going to fall out. Let me talk to you about centrifugal force.
You whipped out your telescoping pointer and you pulled down your projector screen and you said, the force of the ride.
Well, hold your phone in that little pouch. I promise.
Yeah.
But I get it.
Fear not.
It's hard not to worry about your phone on these rides.
Yeah, and when you're 10, your phone is like...
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't have a phone when I was 10.
I did not have a phone when I was 10.
But if I did...
I can imagine.
It would be the centerpiece of my existence, I'm sure.
Yeah, you can tell.
Yeah.
That's for these kids' whole world. Yeah.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, she was sweet though. But anyway.
Don't let Steven Tyler steal your phone.
Yeah.
I guess is the message. Yeah, so Sunset Boulevard, lots of fun thrills.
Yes.
But long lines, so you've got to be smart about that. Don't think you're walking in and waltzing on to Tower of Terror and Rock and Roller Coaster without waiting at least an hour apiece, because often that's what you're dealing with.
Or getting a Genie Plus, yeah.
Sometimes 45, but often 60 or more.
Yeah, I don't see much of a lull in these anymore.
Yeah,
There's
even
not
as
like a,
recently
oh, if you
as
go at this specific time. No.
2017, 2018, there would be days when there would kind of be a lull. And I think also I attribute some of my memories of getting on those rides smoothly has a lot to do with Fast Pass Plus. So now that those things are gone, the parks are super busy and there is no Fast Pass Plus. Disney Genie is for these rides and more. It makes a lot of sense for this park, although it is quite the investment depending on how big your party is.
Yeah, I don't know what, oh, for real. Yeah. I don't know what the numbers are, but when they took away Fast Pass Plus and they added Genie
Mm-hmm.
Plus, and I think not as many, there aren't any, not none, but there aren't as many locals buying Genie Plus.
Right.
That made it so the lines are always long,
Yeah.
all the time.
Yep.
It's terrible. I don't know.
Our official Disney Genie review. But the
Well,
thing is,
no, if you have Genie Plus, it's great.
exactly. But because
But
we're
those of us that
locals,
don't, if you can't or don't or whatever, then it's terrible.
and there's another group of people here who don't get talked about a lot, but that's people who want to give their family or themselves the experience of a Disney vacation, but they can't go. There is no budget. They can't go, all expenses. They have to think realistically about how they can get the most magical bang for their buck without absolutely blowing the bank. And that makes Disney Genie Plus practically an inevitability of something they can't do, because if you're paying for every member of your party, even
It
if you've just got
really
a
adds
family of
up.
three,
Yeah.
you're spending quite a chunk of change just for.
Well, and then the individual lightning lanes are on top of it.
Yeah,
So
so if you're
your
trying to
party
ride
of
Rise of the
three,
Resistance,
yeah,
then you're talking about money.
yeah. For a bigger family, you're talking about potentially adding like $500 to 1,000 for your vacation, depending on how long it is. It's insane.
Disney is really capitalizing on that. I think they're trying to um, kind of package it as almost like the Netflix effect, where it's like, oh, it's $10 a month. Who cares? I
But you're
won't even
right,
notice
but
that. But oh my gosh, it adds up.
yeah, because it's not. It's almost never an individual going for like a trip. You know what I mean?
Right. And not only that, they're banking on the fact that you're going to get it every day of your trip and you're going to get an individual lightning lane, and they're hoping that you don't notice how much it adds up.
Yeah.
So kind of budget that in. Don't on a whim decide. I
Yeah.
would say. I
I'll
would
tell you right
say
now, you need it. If you're coming on a vacation, this is a once in a while, long while thing for you. You need to budget it in.
if you can afford it, it will add a lot to your trip. It
Mm-hmm.
is worth it, I would say, if you can afford it. Now, here's here are what else? What else do you have on your list of? It's not lunchtime for you yet, is it?
Uh, I didn't give a time to Tower of
No, I
Terror
know.
or Rise, so we could talk about lunch if
All
you
right.
want.
Lunch.
Lunch.
So many options for lunch.
Yes, so many options.
Now, a lot of people would say the perfect lunch. Well, I don't want to spoil, but maybe it is yours. A lot of people would say the perfect lunch is the Cobb salad from the Brown Derby.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that certainly one of my favorite meals at Hollywood Studios, and I am not a salad person.
Can you describe what the Brown Derby is?
Yeah, sure. The Brown Derby is it's based off a restaurant that was started in LA, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the decor is very old California and has their caricatures all over the wall.
Yes.
Of all kinds of famous people, a lot of which I don't know, but it's very classy. It's just like a very classy place.
Yeah, it fits really well into the like old school classic Hollywood vibe that
yes, classic Hollywood.
The front of the park kind of gives off.
Right. And then the menu is like, I don't know, classy American,
right.
You know what I mean?
Elevated American favorites.
And the Cobb salad was invented at this restaurant.
Right.
And so that is the salad. It's got all of the
real one,
toppings.
not the Disney one.
What do you mean?
The Cobb salad was invented.
At the real Brown Derby.
Right.
Derby, right. It's got all the toppings. And then the thing that I love about it the most is that the lettuce is chopped, like everything's chopped up into teeny pieces,
So it's easy to mix.
and they mix it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't get like, you know how when you're eating a salad, you'll get a big rind of lettuce?
Yes.
I hate that.
Hey, you know
I
what's
won't even-
the worst thing ever? A wedge salad.
See, I've had wedge salads that are really good because of the toppings, and I cut it up the way that brown jerky.
Right. But you're like,
It's so much work.
Now you've got a $10.99 because you've just worked for an hour to cut up your salad.
Right.
You know.
But yeah, I really hate the kinds of salads where you just get like a big, like not chewy, crunchy rind.
Yeah, like extra crunchy.
Not my thing. But anyway, the Cobb salad, fantastic.
Is that what made your list, or what's your list?
So here's the thing. I put 3 different restaurants down.
Wow.
I know, but I wouldn't eat 3 different restaurants in one day. But I wrote down.
Treat yourself.
I wrote down 3 different sit-down restaurants, and then I was like, I would really be fine doing either or for either lunch or dinner, and then missing one of these 3. But these are the 3 that I want to mention because I think that they're the best.
Hit me with the 3.
You want all 3 now?
I want all 3.
Okay, Hollywood Brown Derby.
Yes.
50s Primetime Cafe.
Yeah.
And Mama Melrose.
Yes.
Those are my favorite Hollywood Studios restaurants. And since this is my ideal day, I'm eating at 2 sit-down restaurants.
Yes, of course. That sounds lovely.
Food is a very important part of my vacation.
Yes. Mama Melrose is, well, I guess let's start with 50s Primetime. 50s Primetime is kind of a classic TV show themed diner.
I Love Lucy.
Yes, I Love Lucy is absolutely like the overarching feeling. But it's family dinner themed, so you're sat by like your auntie and your grandpa's cooking or whatever the storyline is, and they tell you to keep your elbows off the table, keep it polite, that kind of it's
clean your plate, put your phone away.
Clean plate club. It's a little bit of a shtick. It's a little bit of like an improv almost. It's a little song and dancey. It's definitely one of those gimmick type restaurants, but the food quality is there.
And if you guys haven't seen our vlog review about this restaurant,
our first video now.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I will tell you, I was nervous about this restaurant.
Me too.
I am not the kind of person that wants to go to a restaurant and be made fun of.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And I had memories.
Another chapter in Morgan's saga of audience participation nightmares.
I just want to be left alone, you guys.
Leave Brittany alone.
So we went, and I was nervous about it, and it was fine. I had these really bad memories from when I was a kid of the waitress giving us a hard time for not cleaning our plate,
You felt picked on.
Yeah. But as an adult, no, not bad.
Yeah, I think it depends on your server as well.
Oh, our server was fantastic, and the food was mind-blowing.
Yes, there's something I dream of that. There was like raspberry cheese dish.
Yeah, it was like fried cheese, but it was elevated.
And it was, oh my god, the flavor combinations
and then
of
like
that.
A raspberry jam.
Yes, and I will say, if you are an adventurous eater, and you're looking for something that you can't find at home anywhere, then I would pick something else, because these are classic staples, and they are good, and they are good quality. But if you're someone who's looking for something one of a kind, other than like the occasional dessert or appetizer, it's basically meatloaf and mashed potatoes.
I don't know. All 3 of my menu places are pretty basic, but then done in an elevated way.
I would say the theming and the experience. Yeah. Of course, the food is quality, like we've said.
That's the thing. I looked at that menu before we went, and on top of me not wanting somebody picking on me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I also looked at the menu and was not excited.
You're like, oh boy, here comes my frozen dinner.
Yeah. I'm like, fried chicken, meatloaf. I don't like meatloaf, and
the singer.
No, I do like Meatloaf, the singer.
He would do anything for love.
I know, it's beautiful. But then there was like pot roast. I like these foods, not meatloaf, but But I wasn't excited to pay $30 a plate for them.
For chicken, yeah.
Yeah, but it was really, really good.
Yeah, the quality does deliver, gotta say.
Yeah, and I didn't expect fried cheese with raspberry jam.
No,
from a 50s
yes,
style.
now that was unexpected and delightful.
Yeah, we never found out if that was a normal 50s style dish that we just didn't know about.
Oh yeah, we never even looked it up. But honestly, in my mind, I just love it the way it is. I also have good memories of they have a just a fun. Is it just a Shirley Temple or
Yes,
something?
that's what we got, a Shirley Temple.
They just have a Shirley Temple there, but they put like a glow up ice cube thing in it, and it's just a lot of fun.
May or may not have been meant for children, but Jake and I totally got one, and it was great.
Can you tell that we like sweet things? We're like, we drink our chocolate in the morning, and then at lunch we get our light up Sprite with cherry.
Yeah, I mean, I love that light up glow cube too.
Same. I'm eating lunch at the docking bay. We've talked about, or Ronto Roasters.
Wait. Do you want me to finish up on Mama Melrose?
Oh.
Just because we talked about the two. We're going to come. Okay, go ahead then.
Yeah. But for lunch at the docking bay.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with a Ronto Roaster.
And by the docking bay, I don't even mean it. You know, I mean Ronto Roasters. But I want my Ronto wrap. There's just something.
And that's what I meant. Ronto wrap.
There's just something about that good peppercorn sauce and that.
Yeah.
There's nice vegetable chips. I just love it.
You know the kind of food that leaves like that savory, salty, like seasoned flavor in your mouth it's like that.
But it's also like you get that, but it's not like a theme park hamburger or a hot dog.
Right.
This is like another kind of
thing.
I
don't think you get that from a theme park hamburger or hot dog.
No, you just feel gross.
Yeah.
You just feel like weighed down and greasy.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't touch things because your fingers have like grease and drippings and stuff all over it.
Yeah.
That is if you're eating at Catalina Eddie's, Rosie's All-American
Don't
Grill,
eat on Sunset Boulevard.
Or anything on Sunset Boulevard. That is the sensation you will have.
Sunset Boulevard is for thrills and entertainment, but not food.
Yeah, get your thrills on Sunset, and then chill and eat a Ronto wrap and enjoy your decisions. You know, because that's the right way to go.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's where you're doing lunch. You're
that's where I'm doing
Ronto wrap lunch. Hey, that makes perfect sense. That is my favorite quick serve thing to have in Hollywood studios.
Yes. What would you? Okay, now
There's not even a backup, really.
No, honestly, people like the Monte Cristo sandwich over at Woody's Lunchbox. I have not tried it.
I haven't tried it. I love a Monte Cristo.
I just don't think a Monte Cristo is something I want to eat in a theme park.
I see where you're coming.
Especially in outdoor seating. Forget about it.
Oh gosh, I get it, but I do love that sandwich.
We'll have to try it. We'll give it a review.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you letting your lunch settle? In your stomach, but I mean, like, question. what are you up to?
I would have to give that to Muppets.
It's time to let the music. It's time to let the lights.
Yeah.
That is a great answer. This is, I don't know what I was thinking. This is the perfect post-lunch attraction.
Because you're in air conditioning.
You laugh.
You're sitting down for what? How long? A while.
Yeah. 20 minutes maybe.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
It's like it's decently cool in there.
There's not a line. There's just not.
There's not a line. And
I don't. You know how we were saying that there's always a line at Tower of Terror? There's always not a line at Muppets.
Yeah, I
feel bad for the Muppets. I hope they don't take it personally.
I certainly am there for them. But when you're there and you're in that like room, the pre-show room, yes, there are people waiting for their show to start. Like,
yes, the cast members are trying to make you stand right on top of those people.
That too. But I am so grateful, first of all, to just look around because the decorations in there
so awesome.
are amazing. But also because it's inside and you're entertained with a pre-show video, a great pre-show video.
A great pre-show video. But do try to look around.
Yes, because there's a lot.
So many details. There's a joke everywhere you look.
Yes, there are posters from a lot of the like Muppet Treasure Island, Muppets in Space, all of those like Muppet movies. A lot of them have posters up in the rafters. If you find yourself here and you look up in the rafters and you see toy soldiers up there, those are the actual toy soldiers that were used during the filming of the finale sequence of Muppet 3D, and they still live in the attraction, which is pretty awesome.
How cool is that?
Pretty amazing. But it is true that everywhere you look, there's like a fun gag, hidden detail, joke.
Yeah.
I love that the weight indicators on top of the doors to the theater are painted to look like faces.
Yeah, everything. Seriously, look around in there.
It's
If
a
you've
delight.
never really like every detail was thought out in this jokey Muppet way.
Yeah, it's
It
so
makes me happy.
it so encapsulates their style of humor too. Like it's the perfect, if you're gonna do a Muppet pre-show room, it should look and feel like this.
Yeah.
They really nailed it. Muppet 3D is a great answer. I'll join you there.
Okay.
I'll have my glasses, my MuppetVision glasses, and I'll be ready to go.
Okay, great.
Afternoon, when it's getting really hot, most of the year. And
not on our ideal day.
No, and you've had lunch. This is a great time to consume shows. So if you're doing MuppetVision 3D, then that's great. But you also currently have 2 other entertainment offerings that you could take in.
But one of them is outdoor, so
one of them is outdoor, and that's why I would say.
Wait. There are 3 shows. You just don't like one of them.
I'm sorry. What? Which one are you talking
Indiana
about?
Jones.
Oh my gosh, I've totally forgotten Indiana Jones. Can you tell it hasn't made my ideal day? Yeah, yes, that is true. There is the Indiana Jones
Maybe they'll update
Spectacular.
It. There's a new movie coming out.
Don't you think they would have done that when that Shia LaBeouf thing happened? Oh, maybe for the
100 year? I don't know.
It would be cool if they updated it.
It would be cool. I said
I like the idea of the show.
I said to Bailey when the preview came on last time we saw a movie, I was like, maybe they'll update the ride in Disneyland.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, the Forbidden Journey Temple, that one.
The temple, is it the Forbidden Eye?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, not like a complete overhaul, but you know.
Yeah, throw in a new animatronic or something would be cool. Yeah.
Or a new pre-show, that'd be fun.
Oh yeah, refilm the pre-show. That's a great way to plus up a ride.
Yeah.
People thought that was going to happen with that Tom Cruise Mummy, with the Mummy ride at Universal, but then that Mummy movie did terribly.
Oh, it did.
Yeah. Indiana Jones did not make my list.
I like the Mummy from
the Brendan Fraser Mummy. Same. Honestly, some of my favorite movies.
I did go see that Tom Cruise one though.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I didn't like it.
No, neither did anyone else. So you're in good company. The shows that I would go see, I would do this one now, is for the first time in forever, a Frozen sing-along. Now, this is an indoor venue, so it's good for midday. If you're either doing Indiana Jones or Beauty and the Beast, I would save them for
late afternoon,
their last showing, which is normally around like 5 or 6 o'clock.
Right.
Because that's when the sun is going down, things are cooling off a little bit. So not only do you have a more comfortable temperature experience for the show, but also things like stage lights shine brighter, fire glows brighter. So like all of those things that are meant to appeal to your senses just pop a little bit more in the nighttime, and they're kind of a more ideal way to experience the show. Because you don't get the effect of all the cool like lighting going on during the day because it's so bright out.
That's a good point. I had not thought about that.
It enhances things a little, especially the Beauty and the Beast show, because it is designed to be a Broadway-like experience. It is lit like a Broadway show, and sometimes there are spot canisters, and sometimes there are like really cool washes of color and stuff. Like when you're in the forest, there's this beautiful blue wash that looks like leaves. During the finale sequence, there's this beautiful rain effect of when the Beast is,
Yeah.
The battle sequence has happened, and Belle and the Beast are there on stage, and the rain is coming down. And it's a lot prettier at night because you can see the colors so much more clearly because the lights have to work so much less hard than cutting through daylight.
Right, of course. I saw the Beauty and the Beast show on the Disney Wish cruise ship not that long ago. Nope, Disney Dream cruise ship not that long ago. And we had talked about the 5-foot chip that's in our Hollywood studios.
Yes.
Beauty and the Beast. And so the whole time leading up to seeing the show, I was like, is it going to be a 5-foot chip? Is it going to be a 5-foot chip? It wasn't.
Yes, it was. Did they do puppets for that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that,
Chip wasn't even in it, but...
Oh, okay, I see.
I mean, they can't have a child actor on a cruise ship,
right.
So it's complicated.
It's tough,
I don't
yeah. Isn't that one meant to look a bit more like the live action?
Just those characters, I think.
Really? Wow. That's cool.
Does that make sense?
Yes, like the style of the character
Mrs.
costumes.
Potts looked like Mrs. Potts from the live action one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a fan of the live action one, but the songs and the storyline were very much the animated story.
Oh,
Does that
cool.
make sense?
Yeah, so something for everyone.
Yeah.
People who maybe
I think that they just did that because it probably showed better.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even know how they would have done it. I guess I do because I saw them do Olaf as a puppet, and that was amazing.
Yeah. But like
I think Cogsworth looked like the animated one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it was just Mrs. Potts, and it was only. I don't know. I don't want to.
Right, but
I don't want to misspeak.
But either way, the one in Hollywood Studios, I think could maybe use an update. I think it would benefit greatly from either redesigning how they do the characters or updating the costumes or something. I think it could use a little bit of help because there's something about the 5 foot tall Chip felt moment that just feels very dated at this point.
Yeah,
especially now that we have
our puppet thing is all they do on Broadway.
Yes, that is generally what's going on. Either that or like some massive articulated thing. But there was a time in the 90s and 2000s where that felt fine.
Well, so you don't feel like the show is dated though?
No, because it's just the plot of Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, what could really be dated?
It reads just like a cut down version of the movie, and I think the script is tight. I think the songs are effective.
Yeah,
I think it does what it has to do.
And that's how I felt about the show on the boat too.
Yes, I just think maybe it could use. I would like them to reimagine, because now that we've got this technology of these characters where they have articulated mouths and they speak with pre-programmed things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We've entered a new era of what it means to have costumed characters on the stage. So it would be really cool if they look like Morgan's showed me a picture of the Disney Cruise Line Beauty and the Beast show, and they indeed are the updated live action designs of the characters, and they look amazing.
Yes. But the story was
and I see what you mean why they probably chose that for aesthetic reasons, because the detail on them, the gold leafing, all of the notches and everything, it's so rich and colorful and beautiful, and they are articulated by actors who are seen on stage dressed in costumes.
Yeah, and the Beast didn't have like a
puppet
or a mask, you know what I mean? But it was like he had a head thing on, but you could still see his face.
Right,
kind of,
he's still an actor.
Yeah,
which I like. I really like that, because I also think sometimes the Beast costume in the Hollywood Studios one can be a little clumsy.
But are they singing?
The only live singers are Gaston and Belle.
Oh, okay.
Belle sings live every show, and Gaston sings Gaston live every show.
Okay.
And they're very great. Yeah, they do a really good job of blending the sound.
Like, remember when we saw the Halloween show at the Halloween party? And I was like, I don't know who's actually singing and who's not singing.
The Sanderson sisters are the only ones singing.
That was so confusing, but
they sound great.
Yeah.
They sound so great.
They did.
But yeah, they just...
Belle and Gaston are
I've seen the Beauty and the Beast show so many times now that not only do I know the script, but also I can 100% tell. But they do a really great job of, they'll pipe in, for example, in the opening song Belle, they'll pipe in, the lines about when she's having her conversation with the bookstore guy, because they don't, for a couple of reasons. Number one, so they don't have to mix more microphones into the mix, and also so it sounds the exact same every time for those characters, no matter who's voicing them. That is the practice of having those actors lip sync, but having Belle and Gaston, who also sing the most, live.
That's a little crazy. Do you think that's crazy? But I mean, why not then have them lip sing everything?
In Disneyland, they typically do more live singing. For example, the trolley show on their main street is entirely live singing.
Oh, wow.
While our trolley show here is entirely lip synced. So it's also kind of just an entertainment preference, depending on who's running your entertainment.
Very interesting.
Very interesting. But either way, check out the Beauty and the Beast show. It's good. You'll like it. And then on the way out, you hear that sweet, sweet Celine Dion cover of the title track where they go, oh, 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 and it's lovely. It takes you right back to the 90s. It's fun.
And then, did you say the Frozen show is also on your list?
Yeah, I like it. It's fun.
Okay.
I wish they would update it for Frozen 2.
Yeah, gosh,
That'd be
that would
cool.
be awesome.
But the Frozen,
I like Frozen 2 better than I like Frozen 1.
a lot of people do.
Yeah.
I think it's a really good movie, Frozen 2. And the songs are good. But Frozen, the Frozen sing along, obviously you sing along to the songs from the movie, but also the plot is summarized by these two basically improv comedians who are the historians of Arendelle, and they humorously recount the events of the.
I love it when they throw humor into stuff.
It's for the adults.
Right.
You know
That's
what I mean?
what I mean.
Like, it's not adult humor, but it's, it's snappy, witty jokes that go over kids' heads for the adults.
Right.
The kids get the songs from the movie that they love.
Right.
The adults get this really cool improv interaction, and it's lovely for everyone. Sorry, that was the dog from The Little Mermaid. Max?
Max.
That was Max.
What are you gonna do?
Have a dog on a boat, I guess.
Yeah.
Would you see the Frozen show or not for you?
Would I see it? Yes, but I don't. It's not like a must do for me. So, you mean on my ideal day?
Mm-hmm.
Depends on time. Probably not, because there's so much.
If you've got a gap in your life,
if you've got a gap, do it. But I've got a few gap rides.
Oh, what's a gap ride?
Well, like, I would have had Muppets as a gap ride, but I think that it's a perfect after lunch ride.
It is.
Ride. You know what I mean?
Yeah, attraction.
Star Tours is a gap ride.
Yes.
Not because it's not amazing, because I do think it's amazing in its own way, in a very nostalgic way for me. If you're going on this as your first time, then you're not going to be mind blown, maybe.
Right.
But for me, so nostalgic.
Oh, yeah. And also really good quality queue, really good quality films in there. I think they really utilize the technology and the scenic elements they've got, like the little windows that have people pop up in them, the projector that, projects a hologram onto the, you know what I mean? They use all of when you get a message from Yoda or from, they do a little.
Yes, I know what you mean. Yeah, got it.
Like, I think they use that in sync with the motion of the simulator. I think it's a really good quality attraction, even still.
Yeah, and since they updated it, so I'm a big fan of the way it was, and that's very nostalgic for me.
I loved the script on that.
Yeah, Jake bought me Rex in his new form as a DJ, since he's not the captain anymore, or whatever, captain, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. But I do appreciate now how every time you ride, it's different.
Yeah, they've done Star Tours: The Next Adventure is one of those things where there's multiple combinations of planets and enemies and things throughout the plot of the show.
Who comes to tell you what to do?
Yes.
Yeah, who stops you at the beginning? I think it could be different every time. Now, if they're trying to promote something, then it's going to be that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they
did that for a while.
Yes. Even with Batu, they did that when they were building it.
You would land in Batu.
Which is cool.
Amazing.
But also weird because it's not in Batu, the attraction. It's like by Muppets. Like, it's that whole situation is weird.
So weird.
So odd.
So weird. There's this whole Star Wars land, but they couldn't move Star Tours, so it's like Star Tours, then Muppets, then Star Wars Land.
But truth be told, I think it's funky and a cool chunk of Disney history, because imagine trying to explain that 20 years from now when that probably won't be the case. We'll be able to be like, yes, there was a Star Wars Land, but there was also a Star Wars ride that wasn't in the Star Wars Land. It was more by the Muppets. The Muppets had a show and a restaurant, although the restaurant used to be Toy Story, but now there's a Toy Story Land. I mean, like...
There's also a Christmas shop. Yeah.
I know, like, the web of what is where goes so deep in Hollywood studios.
Yeah, I wouldn't be that surprised if they wind up just making that whole area that right now is Muppets and Pizza Rizzo's into more Star Wars stuff, and then just having it all connected. But... who knows?
I can't wait for the Muppet Star Wars special.
That would be great.
To come out in my head, the one in my head, to come out so that they can just make a Muppet Star Wars thing and put it in there.
Yeah.
Yes,
that would be perfect. Then it would be like Star Wars stuff and leading into.
Yes,
Yeah, I
like
don't
an
know.
intro, a
Yeah.
primer. All right, what else do you have do you have any other attractions?
I put the Toy Story Mania is something that I would do if I just happen to like if I'm on if I've got
Yeah.
Genie Plus and it just happens to come up and I've got a space, I will go do it. I think it's a good ride. I've done it enough now that I'm kind of over it with the arm cramping. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It doesn't have. So we were just talking
You've
about
got to
how
think
Star
about
Tours
it
is
as
different.
when you first went on it, though. Remember how amazing it was then? The smoothness,
Even the
the
very
larger than
first
life.
time I
Oh, you
went
weren't
on
impressed?
a Toy Story, I was like, isn't this kind of just that Buzz Lightyear ride again?
Yes, but so much better.
It is better.
So smooth.
If I had to keep one of the two, I would keep Toy Story
Oh yeah,
Mania. But
Buzz
that
Lightyear is very dated now.
but that being said, my favorite part of Toy Story Mania by far is the queue.
Yeah, I get that.
Incredible queue.
Right.
Great queue.
If when you're doing the ride slash game part of it, if you really like look around, there's a lot of details that aren't even part of the screen that you're playing the game with.
Do you know what the best version of that is? And it's not even Disney, is Men in Black Alien Attack at
I love
Universal.
that ride.
It's the best one. Disney needed to catch up with that. I don't think they did with Toy Story Mania. I think the technology is impressive, but I also think it is like just
Too much
screens,
screens for you.
which is not something that I think Disney
Yeah.
feels like to me. I feel like Disney should be what Men in Black is, which is like a lot of animatronics and a lot of like cool static figures.
The screen aspect of it being a game with a screen does make it feel like something you could do at home.
Yes.
But you're right, the queue and then even the details in between screen to screen, like when you're moving, and then the smoothness of the moving, I think makes it worth going on every once in a while.
Yes, I agree. I don't think they should knock it down and rebuild it. I just think that
it doesn't make your ideal day.
I've got I've got high standards.
I know it's not really on mine either. It's just there as a if it happens to work in.
If you can only do one Toy Story thing, without a doubt,
Slinky.
Yes. Get that Slinky.
Not only would I not even put Alien Swirling Saucer on my list, but I mean, I'm not even doing that.
I would.
When it comes up on my Genie Plus, I'm just not taking
it. I just got a notification from Disney Genie. It looks like my next scheduled activity is walking by Alien Swirling Saucers and laughing because I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm not.
I did it once.
That fair attraction, yeah. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good.
It looks cool from the outside, but you don't have to go on it.
No. Obviously, we're doing a
just
lightning
don't wait
lane.
on it. If you want to do it, do it. I wouldn't wait very long on it.
No. Lightning lane, obviously, we're doing Rise of the Resistance.
Right? Oh, yeah, I would pay for Rise of the Resistance. Sorry, I thought I said that's that. Like
Rise of the Resistance,
you need to pay for it.
Is probably the biggest. Is it still the biggest budget Disney attraction ever constructed?
Yeah, as far as I know,
it is right, probably the longest because oh my gosh, it is so long if you include all of the different ride components that go into the attraction. Stuff, yeah. It is like a massive story arc. You are so immersed in the Star Wars universe. It takes you into Star Wars in the way that the Great Movie Ride took you into the history of cinema.
Yeah.
It is beautiful. It is artistic. It is animatronic ridden. It is
a great ride.
It is top tier Disney must do Rise of the Resistance. And it is not virtual queue anymore. You have the opportunity to pay your individual lightning lane. Grab it, you know.
This is up there with Flight of Passage to me as the two individual lightning lanes that I might actually pay for.
Yep.
Even as a local. You know what I mean? I'm not going to pay for Mine Train.
Nope.
I'm not saying that's a bad roller coaster. It's really awesome, but I wouldn't pay for it.
And you'll just have to wait for our Magic Kingdom Ideal Day to hear what we would do instead.
That's true. Yeah. And then Frozen is right? Is Frozen?
Oh, in Epcot, it's Remy. No. The individual lightning
it's
lane.
Guardians.
It's Guardians.
Yeah, but we always get virtual queue, so I don't even think about that as being it. I definitely would pay for that, but I don't have to. So.
Yes. You guys, I did it. I've collected all of my Infinity Stones, and I've gotten every song. And Morgan had prior, so we're all caught up. We've done everything, including the holiday overlay. So everything that is available to be ridden at Guardians, we've finally done. It's so wonderful. We really like that ride. We're so scared of the virtual queue going away and never being able to ride it again.
I think it will as soon as the Tron one comes out, but
of course, it's a matter of time.
They only do one at a time.
Yeah,
of course, it's a matter. Haven't you been paying attention?
No. Where are you
Um,
eating dinner?
well, is that all your attractions?
I'm riding Mickey and Minnie's Runaway
I
Railway because
knew
I
you
think it's
would.
cute.
I'm
Although
not.
their sideways faces do creep me out. um,
I get it. I get you guys that like it. I get it. And I'm really, really happy for Mickey that Mickey got a ride.
but not like this.
I wish it were in Magic Kingdom.
So
Mickey's house.
I'm glad we brought this up. Oh, great idea. I'm glad we brought. Oh, we've talked about that before.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you brought this up because something struck me the other day that should have been what they did to replace the Great Movie Ride, and it can still be a Mickey animatronic. They should have done. Obviously, they should have just kept the Great Movie Ride and incorporated Disney Plus as a sponsor.
Updated it, yep.
Yes, but if they weren't going to do that and they were insistent on giving Mickey his own ride in Hollywood Studios, they should have done like Mickey's Cinemagic Adventure, where Mickey has to go on almost a PhilharMagic, but not for just Disney movies, for all classic movies style.
So Mickey would be like in Indiana Jones,
in The Wizard of Oz, in Star Wars, in all of that stuff, trying to like solve a problem or do some classic Disney storytelling. But to have Mickey kind of be your guide through all of the movies, I think would maybe be, what would be
cool.
Really great is if there was going to be a movie premiere or something, but all of a sudden all of the movie characters, in a very Roger Rabbit way, all of the cartoons and stuff, all of the characters, they decided they don't want to come. So Mickey has to get them all back together, assemble the perfect team, have a great movie.
You're still replacing the Great Movie Ride in this scenario.
Yes, and honestly, that's not what I would want. I would want them to just keep the Great Movie Ride.
And just improve it.
It could have been done.
Yeah.
But we won't harp on that anymore. We've done plenty of that. But yeah, I'm doing Mickey and Minnie's. I get why you're skipping it, but either way, we're definitely eating dinner. So where would you like to eat?
I already mentioned the three that I mentioned earlier.
Oh, right, you did.
One of those would be lunch and one would be dinner. Where are you eating?
Well, the one we haven't discussed, which is Mama Melrose.
That's it.
Mama Melrose is an Italian-style restaurant in the back corner of Grand Avenue, which is the Muppet Courtyard.
Yeah. Oddly located.
Next to what used to be the Christmas shop and what used to be the Nightmare Before Christmas gift shop.
Yep.
Neither of which are open right now. So wayfinding wise, this is in between MuppetVision 3D and Pizza Rizzo.
Yeah. When you see MuppetVision 3D, just go past it.
Yep, and kind of that back corner.
And around. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very, that section is very strange back there. I recently took my mom here because we were having a Hollywood Studios day.
Yeah.
And I needed a dinner reservation. I didn't know how keen she would be on the audience participation bit of 50s prime time. So I figured this would be a good dinner, a pretty safe bet for dinner. And I was absolutely enchanted by our experience.
That it's so funny because I've heard it get some bad publicity. Yes. And I don't really get, every time I've gone, it's been great.
I think people are trying to say, it's not Who Framed Roger Rabbit, it's Who Framed Mama Melrose. Because people are painting this restaurant like it's Olive Garden. It's better than that.
It is.
It's a higher quality than that.
Yeah. I just don't. Maybe you're ordering wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, but I've ordered the chicken parm there.
I have too. Great. It was great.
So if they're doing, that's kind of, don't you think that's like the litmus test for a good Italian restaurant? If you can't get chicken parm right, you're done. So
right.
This was everything I've tried here has been good.
Right.
So maybe there's been some people who've had a bad night or something, but I've been here a couple times and I've liked it every time.
We even went one time when I was doing an elimination diet to find out about possible allergies.
Oh.
And so I went when we were doing a gluten-free. That was the thing that was being eliminated at that time, which. That you don't want to eat Italian on gluten-free.
Italian food is all gluten.
Yeah, but it was fantastic. The thing that I wound up getting was a fish, and it had vegetables, but they did it in kind of an Italian way. I don't remember the specifics, but it was the best.
And you get
fish
worried
I've ever had.
Wow.
I mean, it was really, really well made.
That's big because don't you when you have to order something gluten-free, at a theme park, don't you get a little
I
worried?
assumed it would be terrible.
Yeah, so it's even sweeter when it's good.
Yeah, I was hoping it would be like
Palatable.
okay.
Yeah.
Yes. It was great.
And you know what else I love about Mama Melrose is the ambiance. I
The
think is really
ambiance
great.
really, yeah,
It's like a classic Italian restaurant in some ways, where it's like exposed brick and
string light.
bottles of wine and all that.
Yes.
There's string lights, and also what I really enjoy about it is that if you look up into the ceiling, you can see they've got some classic movie posters,
Yes.
but they're all in Italian.
Yeah.
You know,
But
which
I
is
think
kind of
it's
a cool
supposed to look
touch.
like a New York Italian.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that is the vibe. I think you're right. It's like,
I love the atmosphere.
yeah, I think it's like it's dark in there, so I think it's got
Not super dark.
No.
It's not like romantic. I think it's a great place for a family.
No, yeah, absolutely. When I say dark, I just mean like it's not, you know,
You're not eating outside.
Yeah, you're not eating outside. You're not eating an ABC commissary. There's no like direct
Sure.
light
No
on you.
fluorescent lighting.
It's
yeah.
a little bit more, you know, it just feels a little bit more
relaxed,
secluded, relaxed. Like it just takes you out of the theme park and into just a good. It feels like a local restaurant in there.
Yeah.
Yes. It feels like the best Italian restaurant in your hometown.
Yeah, I agree. I really like it.
It's a great sensation to like calm you down for your theme park day.
I agree.
It transports you nicely.
Absolutely.
And how are you ending your Hollywood Studios day?
So it depends on show timing.
Yes.
I would, at some point, either before or after the last show that I see, I would like to go shopping.
We haven't even talked, yeah.
Yes, and just kind of hang out in the nighttime around Echo Lake, just absorbing, and really on
Sunset
or Hollywood. You know what I mean? Like from the front, where that Pluto sign is that I love with my entire heart.
And even if you don't like the ride, that Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway neon marquee sign is beautiful.
Yeah.
And totally adds to the ambiance there.
Yeah. I love all of those lights on those streets and around Echo Lake at night. Echo Lake, especially at Christmas, is like the most beautiful area.
If this is your ideal day, it's Christmas.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. You're totally right.
Yeah.
So the Christmas tree would be in the middle of Echo Lake, and those giant ornaments that are like just sort of hanging out in the middle of Echo Lake. So it's snowing. Yeah, it's snowing, but it's still 80 degrees. I definitely would be just taking some time to absorb the beauty
and charm. I mean, talk about like and they play that old jazzy music, and it's just such a mood setter.
And then I love the shops up and down Hollywood Boulevard.
Yes. Keystone Clothers, the Dark Room on one side, Mickey's of Hollywood, Mouse About Town.
I get that they've got a lot of the like basic stuff, but I like the ambiance. I really like the window.
Yes, the window displays.
Yeah.
And inside of those shops, there's some really beautiful, ornate Art Deco architecture and styling that goes into some of those shops that I just think like, it feels classy. It feels
I love that the area with all of the home stuff too.
Yeah, that's fun. That's fun to check out. Sometimes the Pixar, Star Wars end of that stuff gets a little generic for me, so I'm not normally really dipping into those as much, but all of the other shops up and down there, we were just talking about before, that was that Pixar shop. That was a villain store, right?
Yes, and it had the I don't think it was called Candy Cauldron while it was in Hollywood Studios. The one in Disney Springs is called Candy Cauldron, and
very similar vibe.
Yeah, same vibe. I mean,
right.
Where it's like they sell candied apples. It's got a statue. I don't think it moves, so I'm gonna say not an animatronic, but maybe it does. Of the
some kind of figure.
Yeah, of the Wicked Witch with the apple. You know what I mean? And then they sell different candy and stuff like that. At some point in the past 5 years, they stripped that and turned it into just another shop.
Yeah, what a crime.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I had forgotten about that, so when you brought it up, I was happy to remember it.
Yes.
Because it's a cool piece of history there.
Yeah, they shut down a lot of stuff right in that general area, because right outside of there was like a little place where you could order pastries and coffee, But then when
Mm.
they, I guess because of Starbucks, they got rid of that.
That was what the
Starring roles.
starring roles. Oh my gosh, it's all coming back.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like that's a pun. Roles like ROLLS.
Yes, instead of your role in the
ROLES.
picture.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I love Hollywood Studios' sense of humor in that way.
Me too.
Yeah.
There also used to be that Planet Hollywood store that was on Sunset.
Oh my gosh, I
You
forgot
remember that?
all about that.
That
Yeah.
was ridiculous, though. I mean, nobody ever went in.
No, but now Planet Hollywood
Has its own
thing in Disney Springs.
and that might have shut down when it kind of changed. Something at some point changed.
Yeah.
Planet Hollywood is very different from when I was a kid.
Yeah, it's really undergone a whole rebranding.
Now it's Guy Fieri's. I don't know.
Yeah, they've tried to kind of reshake it up a little bit.
Yeah.
And of course, there's no Hollywood Studio Day for me without. Oh my gosh! Since it's returned, I've loved it so much. It's fantastic.
Yeah, same for me. That's my end of the night thing. I would, if there's time. So sometimes the show is like at 8, but the park doesn't close until later, and you might get a little time after the show. Or sometimes they do 2 shows.
Yeah, now they're doing 2 shows often.
Yeah, so if you had time after the show to do the like absorbing the beauty or
Yes,
shopping, that might be a better time.
Yes, I totally agree.
Because the shops don't close at close.
Yes, correct. You still have.
You're not bugging a cast member. They're not intending to be walking out the door at 9 or whatever.
Yeah,
I'm not saying be there for hours.
You've got time. You've got time to dip in, make some last selections.
Yeah, but that's when everybody else does it. So.
Yeah, so there is a bit of a bottleneck.
But
Phantasmic originated in Disneyland. When it came here, it underwent some show changes, and it stayed almost
got stadium seating
and got
like its own theater.
Got a beautiful theater.
In Disneyland, it's done like over the water. That you know what I mean.
It's in the rivers of America.
Right.
Here, it's got its own beautiful amphitheater with tons of stadium seating where everyone can see. You have the option whether or not you want to get splashed. You have control over your viewing
sit in the front
experience.
Unless you want to get wet.
Right. Phantasmic stayed the same for so long. It closed for refurbishment prior to the pandemic and did not open back up until a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Very recently. I was nervous because, this is one that is like super core to my childhood. It like is the way a lot of people feel about Wishes, the Magic Kingdom show that ran forever. I kind of feel that way about Phantasmic because it was there for like my whole childhood. So,
right.
Big fan. But I think the reopening, the update they did on it is a perfect example of how to tastefully, respectfully, but still in an exciting way, kind of update something. Because I think they did a great job.
I think they did a great job too. It's fantastic.
Phantasmic.
They
updated the lighting so the show looks great. It's super easy to see now.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of did a couple replacements of show segments. I think the pacing feels great. I think it's exciting. I think it's a little more modern. I would like to see them go even further and maybe shake things up technologically a little bit more. But as far as like what we got for an update, I think the energy of the show is fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
They definitely didn't mess it up.
They didn't make it worse.
They do that. They do that occasionally.
Yeah, sometimes some of the updates go awry.
That I was like, oh, they shouldn't. You know what I mean? Right?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think they really did a good job of making sure to do nothing but enhance.
Yes. And it's just a beautiful way to end your Hollywood Studios Day.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's a tribute to what movies are all about, which is the imaginations of the people who make them. This isn't particularly a cinema-themed show, but it's a tribute to imagination.
Yeah.
In this version, it's Mickey's imagination coming to life for better or worse, and that's kind of the plot of the show, is seeing if he could tame his own imagination. But it's a really cool kind of rundown of some past and present Disney classics as well. It's also multimedia.
Yeah, they do a great blend.
Yes, of live performance, stunts, pyrotechnics, costume characters, animatronic.
Projection on water.
Animatronic. Yeah, water screen projection.
What's the dragon?
The dragon is not technically an animatronic, I wouldn't say, because it's articulated mechanically and not by hydraulics.
Okay.
I think that might be a little. I think that might be a fine line or too technical. It's a big moving dragon thing, you know. It's cool. It's a big moving figure, and it's impressive. It's not as impressive as the Disneyland one, where they have a full scale actual dragon, which is pretty cool. Ours is basically a dragon head and some wings, but it still definitely does the trick.
You don't know.
Yes, I do. There. I can see the railing.
Okay.
But honestly, what impresses me even more than that is Maleficent, like during the transformation, because she's got this really cool cauldron that's got like pyrotechnic stuff going on,
right?
And then she just lifts into the sky and transforms into the dragon in like a really cool Broadway type of way.
Yeah, right.
It's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you get to see a bunch of your favorite characters at the end. Fantasmic is a great finale for your Hollywood studios.
I love that you can sit down.
So relaxing.
So much better than those shows where you've got to stand there, and you don't just have to stand there for the show, you've got to stand there for the hour beforehand so that you can see, and then you may not be able to see. But with this one, you can see no matter where you are, even if you're short, and you get to sit.
Even if you're in the back, you can still, there's so much to see.
Yeah. And it's so much better, especially if you've had a long Disney day.
Yes, and you will have.
You will have.
If you did what we recommend, if you did our ideal Disney days, you're tired at the end.
Yeah.
And Fantasmic is a great way to catch your breath, take in a great show, hang out with your fam, make some nice magical memories.
Yeah.
I love Fantasmic. And I love Hollywood Studios, and it's been a pleasure to go through our favorite Hollywood Studios stuff together.
Yeah.
I want to go right now.
Yeah, I miss it. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. We need to head on back. We've been doing a lot of Epcot because, Guardians got to get in our Guardians while we can.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Well, they're connected by a Skyliner, so that's helpful.
And that is one of my favorite things about Hollywood Studios is that it's just a skyline away from Epcot.
Yes, it's easy. It's easy to get to from Epcot for sure.
Yeah.
And the parking situation isn't too bad.
Yeah, I don't have to take a monorail to get in.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's convenient. All right, Morgan. If people liked the show, what should they do?
Please leave us a review.
We have loved the reviews we've gotten so far. It's so cool to hear from you guys.
Yeah. If you're watching on YouTube, then please like this video and subscribe to our channel.
That would be awesome. And of course, follow us online. You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at NeverlandNavCo. There we do some in-park content and even talk about some more deep dive versions of the history of some of the cool things that Disney has had going on in this past.
The history is so interesting.
It is. There's a lot of stories that aren't told very often amongst the fan base that kind of deserve to have some cool spotlight shown on them with some interesting tidbits in there. And that's what we aim to do. So check us out on there. You can also check us out on our website, neverlandnavigation.co. That's where Morgan writes a great Disney blog where you can stay up to date on what she recommends for your Disney experience in the written form.
Yep. And then we have an Etsy store. It's called Neverland Navigation.
Yes, lots of fun park-inspired designs on there. Yeah. Lots of great stuff. All right, Morgan. It's been a pleasure. It's been a lot of fun. This is the podcast that never was, but always will be.
There it is.
Or something. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching.
And we'll
see you
on our next
adventure. Goodbye.